Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Well, very exciting. We've got a new aeroplane to look at today. I'm probably one of the first YouTube channels in the world to show you this. All the big time YouTubers have already done videos on the Twin Otter, but that was a week or 2 weeks ago and they only had the beta version, not the full released finished version. But today I have got the full released complete finished version of the Twin Otter, or the de Havilland DHC-6-100, and I've downloaded it. It is from Aerosoft, and of course what you would expect from Aerosoft, it is absolutely beautiful. But look at the options and the liveries you get, the float planes, the land planes, the liveries and the different options, the cargo, the passenger services. It is just incredible the amount of planes and variations that you actually get with this game. It cost me 50 New Zealand dollars. So you work that out where you are. But for me, that's okay. That's not too bad. I think the 737, when it comes out, it's probably going to be like $100 minimum. So $50 is okay for an Aerosoft plane where you know the quality is going to be good. That's not bad for me, providing it's a plane that you're actually going to use and not just look at a couple of times and then park it up. And that's been a bad habit for me. I buy these planes, I look at them, then I don't get time to actually fly them and play with them. So really I have to have a cutoff point where I say that's it. I'm not going to buy any more planes because I don't have time to enjoy them all, fly them all, and study them all, and they're just not getting used. So I'm throwing money down the drain. But I like the look of this Otter. It can be used for small regional hops, small regional flights in my virtual airline. It can land on water. It can get to difficult to reach places. So we're going to have a look around it today. Now I've loaded one up here. So where we're going to take off from, we should try taking off and landing on water. That's what it's actually sort of designed for. But I'm not going to do that today until I've had a bit of a go, a bit of a practice, and made a bit of a study of it. So we're just going to have a look at Melbourne International. We're going to have a bit of a walk around the outside, have a look at the cockpit, and see how it actually looks. Okay, so here we are at Melbourne International. We are in the cockpit, and of course it looks absolutely fantastic because it's using Ubisoft. The detail, the texturing, the modeling is just unbelievable. Just beautiful. And if you look at the textures up here on the roof, you zoom in here, you can actually see the stitching in the material. Look at that. You can almost tell that it was a Brother sewing machine. You can almost see the brand of the sewing machine by the style of the stitching. It is very, very good. Very, very nice. Not that you're going to be looking up at the ceiling at the stitching all day while you're flying around, so it's not really that important. But it does create immersiveness, and does make you feel like you're in a real plane when the detail is as good as this. Now the animations are great. Now if you watch this yoke down here, when I put on the parking brake, you'll see that. There we go. I've locked it. I've put on the parking brake, and this locking rod has come up here. It is clamped around the flight yoke and locked in position. That is amazing. That is beautiful. So there's no way anyone can move the flight yoke until that system has been unlocked and taken off. So if we take that off, there we go, that locking rod and system has been removed. And the sound, you can hear all the sounds of that being taken off and locked and put on and everything as well, which is just fantastic. Now you can remove this big yoke. I don't usually like to fly with the yoke because I use my joystick, so it's like having two yokes in the plane. So I get rid of that and I just use the joystick and all the buttons on the joystick. Now a lot of analog gauges here, which is really nice. It's not just all the displays, the MFD displays. You've got all the analog gauges, so you've got to go through all your checks from right to left, up to down, or however you do it. There is a way of doing it. You got GPS and your autopilot over here looking fantastic. this is the sort of plane that you can spend a lot of time playing around with. You can do some basic flying around, but if you want to, if you're a study level kind of person, you can put hours into this and figuring out what every little button does, how to use every little system, realistic startups, anything you want, you can actually do with this plane, I believe. And I think later on I will do some more research, some study. I will look at the manual, and I will try and learn some more about the systems, the GPS, the auto, the ILS landings, all sorts of things you can do here, but you need to take the time. And also, of course, you know I'm a dummy. I just like to get in to fly it. So we're going to just take it up in the air today and see what it's like for a dummy just to get in and fly it as it is without any research or study or training. So let's have a look on the outside of the plane. Of course, it's got the black and white propellers, so they're easy to see if you're maneuvering in around close quarters of anything. Maybe you're landing on a lake where there's a harbour, where there's a jetty, and there's poles and things jutting out of the water. You've got to be able to see the exact position of your propellers just for safety reasons. But look at that. That is modelled absolutely beautiful. Very, very nice. The colouring, the textures, and you've got a lot of liveries to choose from, which is absolutely awesome. Just beautifully modelled. Let's have a look. Okay, let's have a look inside at the different views inside the cockpit. Now you just hit this button if you assign it, and you come back into the fuselage, back into the cabin. Now this is the cargo version, so you can see it is ready to have cargo loaded. It all gets mounted onto here and attached and fixed down so it can't slide or move around. So that is modelled beautifully. And there we go. We got some cargo in here as well. I don't know what I did then. I clicked on something, I think. Must have clicked on something, and it automatically loaded some cargo. So we've got a full load of cargo there, and that has been modelled beautifully. The wooden crates just look fantastic. So I'm going to have a look at the passenger version as well, and we should see all the nice seating and all the sort of comfortable seats and everything in the back there as well. And we just click a button and we are back into the cockpit. Now the throttle, you'll notice, is on the ceiling, which is a little bit weird, a little bit unusual, but that's because it is closer to the engines. If it was on the floor, there'd be a lot of connections and wiring and a lot of work to actually get it to connect up to the engine. So it's on the ceiling. It is more direct and responsive because it just goes straight to the engines. So that is why that is on the ceiling. The fuel tanks, of course, are not in the wings, okay? The fuel tanks are actually on the fuselage, and it is fed to the engine via a pump. It is not gravity fed. So there is no fuel in the wings at all. It is all in the fuselage. Okay, I'm going to try and take off. Absolutely no training, absolutely no tutorials, nothing. I'm just going to see how hard it is for a dummy to jump in and fly from A to B. So I'm going to bring the throttle up. Of course, I'll be doing everything wrong, and you're welcome to tell me that in the comments, because I haven't done any study or research or training on this plane. I'm just going to see what it's like for a dummy to get in and fly. Can we take off? Can we fly it from A to B? Will it be stable? Or do you need a lawyer's degree to fly it? Very light to lift off the ground. I think you get up to about 80 or 90 knots and it just sort of lifts off. I've got to be careful it doesn't take off like a rocket and point up towards the clouds. Just sort of control it a little bit with the trim, just so we have a nice gentle climb out. Have we got flaps down? Oh yeah, the flaps were down a little bit. So when I loaded it, it was on the runway with the engines running and the flaps were down a little bit. Very, very stable and very smooth, I've got to say. Very, very nice. Our flaps are up. Now I'm going to bring the throttle down a little bit because I'm on full throttle. So I'll just bring the throttle back a little bit and we'll see what happens. And we're at 2,000 feet already. Lovely visibility out these windows. Just beautiful. But it is very smooth and very easy to fly. Very, very stable. You can just get in it and fly from A to B. I could take a load of cargo from Palm Springs over to Los Angeles or San Diego without any training or without studying any tutorials. I can just get in it and fly it and have fun. And for me, that's what I like. And if I get really, really interested and I want to do more accurate flying and more accurate startups of the systems and everything, I can do a little bit of research. I can study the manuals. It comes with the manuals. I can do a bit of research, some study, and I can really get into it and do some study level sort of flying and startups if I wanted to. If I find that I really want to get into this aircraft. But if you're not a study level pilot like me, I just like to get in and fly and have fun. It looks like it is very, very easy to do that. You can just jump in and take off and fly to where you want to go. I am loving it. I'm keeping it stable and reasonably level flight just by using a little bit of the trim. I'm not using the joystick very much. I'm just using the trim to adjust it up and down. But the cockpit is beautifully modeled, beautiful colors. I'm now at 4,200 feet. I need a little bit of practice with this, obviously. I would like to learn how to use the autopilot. Now, not a lot of these planes came out with autopilot, actually. I think only a few did, but most of them had no autopilot. So they were actually manually flown from A to B. So it's when you can get in and just fly manually from A to B, and you'll be doing it quite authentically if you just fly it manually. But if you do like autopilot, it does have autopilot and the GPS and everything there, and you can do ILS landings, I think. So I would class this plane as it's study level, but definitely manageable and flyable for beginners and dummies like myself. You can just get in and enjoy it. And I think I'm going to use this for some little regional hops in my virtual airline, and I think it's going to be fun. I'm going to flower around on it for a while, and I'm going to try and bring it in for a landing. It will probably be a disaster. It will probably be a controlled crash or an uncontrolled crash. So I'm going to have to play around with it, have some practice at my landings, and maybe even try an authentic startup as well. And I'll keep you informed how we go. Can I recommend that you buy it? Well, if you're a dummy or a beginner like me and you just want to get in, fly around and have fun, I would say yes. It is a beautiful looking aircraft, and you seem to be able to do that quite easily and nicely. If you're a study level person, you want to get into all the intricacies of the systems, it's got that here for you as well, so you can get into that. So it's a big yes from me to both of those style flight simmers. Anyway, just a short vid, just so we could have a look around the aircraft and give you my opinion on it. For what it's worth, I'm not a study level sim pilot, so I'm not into all the technical stuff. You know me, I am a dummy. But from my point of view, easy to fly, smooth, fun, and it's got all the study level stuff if you want to. And I think I'll get into a bit of that later. Okay guys, I will talk to you soon. I will be doing some more flight simulator videos soon with this plane, also with my favorite beautiful 737. I'm checking the sim market every day now, waiting for PDMG's 737 to come out. Everyone's just waiting for that at the moment, and it could be here any day, any week, any month, who knows. but I'm certainly hanging out, and I'm really looking forward to see that one. Okay, take care guys, stay safe, and we'll talk again soon. Ciao.